Got it.
Hi everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut. We are doing our Crafters Classroom today. We're doing our Penguin Craftalong, and just give us a minute to make sure that volume and picture is working. Oh, I can see me and I can hear me, and right now my mom is here with me and she is trying to refresh so she can get
I got it.
on also. Oh, she got on. Takes a little bit. Her little computers or her little thing surface is a little bit slower, so it takes hers a little bit. So, but we are doing our Penguin Craft Along today. So pull that out. Okay, I'm turning my volume down. And let's see, I'm going to go down to the table. So here we go.
All right. You're on.
Okay, so we are down on the table. This is the Penguin Craft-Along kit if you have it. Now I still do have a few kits left, so they're on the class page. So you can go to the class page, you can order them. They probably won't be up there for very long, so make sure if you want one to go ahead and get that ordered today, because I will turn that off. So then on Monday when Becky gets here, she knows exactly how many she has to make. So we are making this square pop-up box card. So it's a square when it starts. It opens up and it's more of a rectangle. So we're making that. We're going to do that first because that's going to take the majority of the time. And then we are going to do this horizontal easel card, which I have a little commentary on that when we get that far. I wasn't sure how long this would take, so I did ask Jennifer to schedule me right before the break, because if I run over, there's 15 minutes. I mean, I won't use all of that, and I'm hoping to finish on time. I usually finish fairly on time, but you never know. So let's get rolling. So we have our square pop-up box card, and there is a good illustration on the back of that. So just make sure to kind of have this open, so then you can see this illustration, because that's kind of where we're going to start. So it does have a lot of pieces. So you do have to, hang on, you do have to pull out in your kit, you have a 5-count package of the pop-up box cards. So you do need to pull out one of the cards and 3 of the little tabs, the little inserts. So pull that out, or pull 1 card and 3 of the little inserts out of the kit. The other 4, then you have stuff to make more cards. Oh, Marion, the dance was not last night. It's in March.
Yeah.
And now that she brought it up, I am totally going to go there, and she can't stop me with my phone. So
I can't.
So anyways, that's in March. We will do that. It's on a Friday night. For our Crafters Classroom people, on Thursday I do a live. My mom was saying that she brought up that she's doing this dance because she started up ballroom dancing again.
So I get for open up my mouth.
She opened up her big mouth and said that she was doing this, and of course the people on here are like, we want to see it. So yep, now it's happening. So
Okay, but there is I'm going to a formal Christmas party dance tonight.
But I'm not going there.
No.
So if she wants to have people tape her, she can. So, anyways, so we have our pop-up box card, and we have lots of pieces. So let's go through our pieces first, just to get them kind of lined up. We do have 2 different red ones. They're red striped, and these are printed papers from the Impression Obsession. I think it's called Winter. But I just want you to notice that there's 2 different striped ones, and the one is smaller and will layer on a piece of green Miri Sparkle. So you should have 4 of the fiery red glitter that are this small size. You have another little bigger size, and that's for trimming later. You have 2 of the printed green, You have 2, and these are all the same size, 2 of all the hats and 2 of the tan with the hats. Then you have 2 of the smaller green Miri Sparkle. And I believe there should be, I have this one here, there should be 2 of the larger green Miri Sparkle, along with 2 circles, 2 circle words. If you're missing anything, because this is a lot of pieces, but if you're missing anything, let us know. If you're watching this after the feed, email me. Even if you're watching it during the feed, sometimes, you know, we watch them and my mom jots them down, and we will write them down. But if you're watching this after the live, make sure to email either info or Sarah at the Paper Cut. Anyways, because otherwise I won't see it days later. So you should have 2 of these Hill die cut things.
Sarah, what's the best glitter paper to stamp on?
The Crystal Diamond Print glitter
Thanks.
paper. And then you should have a Just Chillin' and a green strip. So it's a lot of pieces. Now, one thing that came up earlier today with the Crystal Diamond Print, which is the white glitter paper, you do need to make sure that your ink pad is well inked. So if you have a StazOn tends to get dry, and this has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. It's just a question that came up earlier today, and I haven't replied yet, but I read it. So if you have an ink pad, if you're stamping on it with StazOn, and it's our Crystal Diamond, so we're not using it in this one, but it's our white glitter paper. You want to make sure that your ink pad is well inked. StazOn, you want to make sure is well inked regardless of what you're stamping on, because if you stamp with StazOn and you take a stamp and you set it down and it sticks to your paper, it's because your ink pad was not juicy enough. So make sure your ink pad is well inked. If you're stamping with another type of ink pad, again, on the glitter paper, it's got this funny, you know, this little bit of textured surface. Anytime you're working with a texture, whether it be linen, glitter, felt, whatever, make sure you have a well-juiced ink pad. So anyways, let's go on to what we're doing, because we have a lot of attaching to do. So we are going to start out, and you are going to start out with the tape tab, and this is our top picture right here. Oh, and then you should have one big one too, which I don't have, not because it's missing in all of your kits, but because I just grabbed all of the pieces from out in the shop, and it was missing in the extra pieces, because I have to print more of those out. So I am going to go grab that. But you're going to just start laying all of your pieces out and attaching them. Start out with your tape tab on your left, and the bumps will be up. And start by just laying them out according to the picture. Before you start going crazy with tape, just start laying them out. Now, this one is our bigger red piece. Okay, so this one does not have a glitter backing, and when you you're going to attach this green, you're going to trim it off. But notice our words are upside down, which you're going to trim those words also. So, and you have a bigger piece right here that I have to run out to my shop and get. Thankfully, like Mitra, or unlike Mitra, I have all my paper here because I'm at my shop. So when I forget a piece, which I just did, I can run out and get it. So I'll be back. You guys start taping.
And if you think I'm going to say anything, I'm not going to say much at all, because I'm going to get into trouble. But I've been known to do that before on occasion. So getting ready for this studio dance party tonight. Oh my gosh, I can't even figure out what to wear. You know, they call COVID-19 for a reason, and I have put on all 19 of those pounds. And what a shock that was to get up and put on a dress and say, whoops, I guess that's not going to work.
I'm back. Anyways, your kit did look like this. It was just the pieces for the card. I'm taking the big piece out of there. I'm putting a note on it so then they know that I scavenged out of the sample kit. If you hear some little cookies on the floor, that is Winnie is here with us. So
And I'm spoiling her.
And my mom's spoiling her. Missing green printed. Okay. So now I probably tape much faster than a lot of you, so I'm going to just start taping. You guys had a head start on me though. So let's go to it. Yeah. She's like up on my mom like, I need attention, and you people never give me attention. Which is a total lie. So when you're attaching this one, if you want it equal on all sides, it might be a little bit short on the bottom, but it's the inside of the box, so you won't even be able to tell that. So I'm just going to keep attaching.
This dog is going to bark.
No, she's not going to bark. She never barks, or rarely. If she sees wildlife out in our backyard, she barks. If somebody comes to the door, she barks, and she's a good alerter for my daughter. She will bark if she thinks something's wrong. So anyways, I used the bigger striped piece. I attached my piece of Green Mary Sparkle, and it does need to be trimmed off. So right now she's being naughty. She's got her hands up, or her paws up on my mom, which is totally against the rules.
Oh.
We won't tell her mom. So we have, yeah, this kit has a ton of pieces. So chances, I mean, I would actually be shocked if somebody was not missing a piece, just because there's so many pieces in this kit. I mean, I love it when it happens when we are totally not missing a piece, but it's for the just chillin'. You're going to trim it. And you're going to trim it. Now, I did attach it, and that's what this big hunk of red glitter's for. Remember, you have 4 smaller red glitters. Do not cut those up. You need them for layering. But you are going to cut up this bigger piece, and it will end up going as a very thin border right here. So don't cut totally this way, because you need the length of it for below one of the snow hills. So don't cut this way, because you need the length. But you can trim just some off the one edge. See, I still have my full length to layer beneath one of my snow hills. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And if you want to pop this up, what this is when this opens, it's right here on the front. So I did pop up just my words. So, and I have some foam tape, and I do have some of the terrible foam, not terrible like Mitra said, not terrible, it's the terrible foam tape from 3M, the old stuff, which is like gold. And I don't think I trimmed very good, so, because I was trimming fast, I'm going to just give it one more straightening trim. And this goes upside down. The reason it's upside down, it's because it's on this panel, and when you fold it down, then it is right side up. So if you're like Sarah, that's upside down, you're off your rocker. I'm not, not today anyways. And it does go upside down on our layout. So, yes, it is upside down. And just keep attaching. And we'll attach our hats. And they're going to go on these 2 panels. So we do have a smaller pop-up box card. It folds into an A2 size, but then when you pop it open, it's a little square. So it's kind of deceiving because this one starts out flat as a square but then folds into a rectangle. Our A2 size, which we also have a die for. This big one I don't have a die. I was going to do one and I just haven't gotten around to it. So on the inside is this little Hello Winter. I do have that popped up also and then attached flat. So Hello Winter is popped up on the red, and then I'm going to attach it flat. You can wait to attach the one on the inside if you want, depending on how you have your penguins attached. So it's up to you. I'm just going to go for it and attach it right away. But yeah, you can wait until you see where your penguins are if you want to hold off. Or if you use a kind of removable tape, then you can move it around. Alright, I'm just going to stick it right there. I think that's about where I had it. Yep, it is. So now we're here. I hope you guys are all keeping up with me. You had a little bit of a head start. So now we're going to flip it over. So just take the whole thing. You know, don't flip it top to bottom. You're going to flip it this way. So you're going to flip it over. Your tape tab now is on the right. And now you should have the indents, okay? So tape tab is on the right and you have your indents. This will be the back of the box. So that's actually the back part of the box right there. And now you're going to be looking at this section on your directions. Now you can watch me or you can look at your directions. Let's lay our paper out first, just to make sure we have everything. We have our 4 red glitter. And we have our 2 little mittens, our tan with our mittens. Now you can arrange these differently if you want. You can do whatever you want to do. Now I tend to double layer everything, but you do not have to. Like when you're doing a separate one, you don't have to double layer it. That's going to go there, and I should have a second piece. Yeah, I do. A second piece of the green. It was stuck to that. I just about had was like, whew, where did that go? Okay, now, this part right here is showing a snow hill, and sometimes it's easier to trim your snow hill before you attach this because then you can line it up and just whack it right off. So our snow hills, there's 2 on a sheet. We used 1, but you're going to use both the one and the opposite throughout your box. So you need 1 snow hill, and you can turn them over, but you need 1 snow hill to go here, and then you need 1, 2, 3 snow hills to go on the inside. So just, I don't think it really matters, but just pick a snow hill. I do have the larger over on the right hand side, but then you'll use, because you'll get a total of 4 snow hills out of our 2 die cut pieces, because you'll use both the top and the bottom. So, cut them apart. So to cut them apart, just lop it off. Lop it off. They disconnect into 2. So I can use this little one as as like this little short front one. If you have one that's, really tiny like my one is. And then you can use some of these bigger ones on the inside because you can always raise or lower it. And if you don't like the heights of any of them, you can always cut the bottom to whatever height you want. So we're just going to go ahead, and I have my little snow hill. Oh, this is where we use our red glitter. See our little red glitter right there? And you can see it a little bit on the picture, but there is a little bit of red glitter there. So first I am going to get the width by just kind of holding it onto my red striped piece. I am going to lop it off, hold it in place better than I just did. Now, if you want to put glitter and glue up here, which I actually did it after it was together. You could do it before it's together, unless you're using, like I just used a glue pen, a zig glue pen, and then some iridescent glitter. If you're going to do it before, you want to do that before it's assembled. If you're using like a glitter glue that's going to stay wet, you're not going to be able to handle that piece for a while. So totally up to you what you prefer. I did this one after the fact. So I actually had this whole thing together, and then I did my glue pen and I dumped my glitter on there. So if you're not a glitter girl, don't use it. It's totally optional. And for the sake of doing our Craftalong, I'm not going to use it. But so remember I said you needed the length of here? I just attached that to the bottom. Now, if you want to conserve some of this sparkle paper, you don't need that whole width. You know, sparkle paper is sometimes like, whew, you want to save it, every little last bit of it. I just need a little bit on the bottom here. And like I said, if you want a snow hill that's not that big, just lower it down. Actually, cut some off the bottom. Let me do that. I'll make my snow hill not as big. And I already put tape on the back. I wasn't thinking. But now I have a shorter snow hill like on the sample. Now my angles are a little bit different. I could have scooted my, I could have cut over here more or over here, and it went at more of a hill. Doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see my sample and then look at yours and say you did it wrong. So it's your project, you do you.
Everybody's quiet.
Everybody's quiet, they're all working. That's because we have a ton of taping on these projects. So now I can attach that. Did I pop mine up? Let's see, my snow hill. I did I pop it up? I can't even tell if I popped it up. No, I don't think I did. I popped up my penguins, but I didn't pop up my hill. So now it's just attaching all of your layers. So go ahead, turn them all over. Yes, there's a lot of taping with this project and a lot of pieces. So with the box cards, it's kind of nice just to see how, if you haven't done one, it's rather intimidating because it's a lot of pieces and panels. But now you can see kind of where I went with this, used a few different coordinating pattern papers, or you can make your own pattern paper. You can use our cardstock and some of the Impression Obsession background stamps, and I used to do that a lot. But now Mitra had this pattern paper and it was super cute, so I used it. But yeah, you can kind of see just coordinating cardstocks, coordinating pattern papers, put them on your panels. I mean, they could all be the same if you wanted to make more of a scene, which I have done with deer. And you can take the measurements from my pieces, because that's half the battle too, is sometimes the measurements. Alright, so we have lots of pieces here. We're just taping. And you have kind of my little layout for your attaching stuff, so that kind of helps too. Just kind of keep everything together, like if you keep your stuff in a file or however you keep it, then you can use it as a reference, or you can put it right in the package, because you have 4 more that you can make with the package, so you could put the directions right in there, so then you can kind of see the layout and you'll know how many of each piece you're cutting and stuff. just gives you something to go by so it's not so intimidating when you go to do it on your own. So, and that's kind of what this Crafter's Classroom is all about. Teaching you, giving you ideas, hopefully inspiring you. Maybe going outside your comfort zone, doing something that you wouldn't normally do. But here you have a chance to try it. I'm looking at my tape gun, I'm hearing it, it's getting a little creaky, so I'm like, ooh, is it going to be running out of tape? Oops. All right. Yeah, you guys are all so quiet. And I think we're doing pretty good for time. I think we're going to get through both cards.
We're at 11:15.
Yeah, we're at a
13.
half an hour in, so
Yep.
we have another half an hour. Oh, and here comes the Winifred back. She got bored out in my office laying on her bed. She's like, you guys are ignoring me.
You're talking to other people and you can't find them? Can't find them.
Yeah, so she's probably like, who are you talking to, you nut job? All right.
Okay, now, when are you?
All right, so there we go. We have
If you
our...
need to, Sarah, if you need to change your tape, can you do that on camera?
Can I do it on camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it on
Okay,
camera.
great, thanks.
Yep. And maybe I'll just hang on. Well, actually, I will do it on camera. I have multitude of tape guns from when I teach classes. I used to let you use the tape. So, oh, and Deb, you're the one that's asking, or Deborah. I'm not sure what you prefer. Thursday night when I was on my live, I had the thing happen to me that you emailed me about. So I did actually show that on my Thursday live, but I am going to go get one of my empty tape guns and I will show how to refill this because we are doing good for time. And I might do that, well, maybe you guys are deciding on your hills and your penguins and that kind of stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this together. So if we turn it back over, this tape tab folds in and you only put tape on top. If you tape this tab to right here, you won't have a tape tab that sticks out because this is how the box forms. You just fold it, fold it, fold it, and it forms this box. So this tape tab, you put tape on the top of it and it attaches to right here. So I'm going to do it while it's flat, but I just wanted to show you. So you're going to put tape right here, right here, right here, right here, and it is going to end up attaching. I don't want my Sharpie to bleed through. It's going to end up attaching, and that's why I looked at it for a minute, but I do have layers there so it won't bleed through. It's going to end up attaching to right there. So I'm going to pull out my 1/2 inch because I want a wider one. If you're using a 1/4 inch, I would put 2 strips down there. So I put tape on my tape tab. I'm working on the inside. So we are looking at this section right here. And if we fold it in half directly, right here is going to end up attaching to our tape tab. That forms our box. And I can give that a little push. I can open it up. And that's our box. So our inside though, these little jobbies. So this is where we're using our hills, and you can decide on, you know, what you want where. You might turn that over to use right you know, so I kind of am setting them up. This is going to be my one hill in the back. This is going to be my middle hill. And this short one is going to be my front hill. I'm going to set my empty box aside. And we have our little tape tabs. So we have, this is one where if you're going to put the glitter on, you might want to do it while it's, you know, flat. I did do mine after the fact because I was just like, oh, I need to do something different. But I won't say it was the easiest thing to do. So these are our little tape tabs. And I just want to show you, I'm going to just do this just so you can see how they go in the box. I'm going to use a fairly removable, well, the Tombow says permanent, but it's not really. It lies. You don't have to do this now. I just want to show you how these are going to go in the box. So these end up going in the box flush with the top, and I'm just showing you just so you can put your pieces, so you can decide how they're going on there. So they're going to end up being flush with the top. If I'm using a hill, you know, it doesn't matter if I don't like it that high up. It doesn't matter if I lower it. It doesn't matter if it goes below this bottom edge because that's on the inside of the box. And I can put my hill to the back or to the front. I like to put it to the front, just so you kind of cover up that edge. And I'm going to take that out of there right now. So distance, you want your hills to be the length, not including the tape tabs. See the tape tabs? You want the hills to be this length right here, not including the tape tabs. And you don't want it super tight, so maybe a little bit less than that. Let me give you, if you're using a personal paper trimmer, let's just measure that. So it's 3, and it's actually 3 and 11/16, but I would go 3 and 5/8. So 3 and 5/8 to cut your hill length to. I'm just going to eyeball them. Okay, I'm eyeballing them. You can eyeball them with me, or you can pull out your personal paper trimmer and do them that way. So once I got one the right length, that's just a hill. You could use it. You could actually use these on the front panels if you wanted. You'll have extra pieces, so if you want to put more hills on the ones that are on the sides, or if you want to use a hill, you know, on these to extend it, you can do that. I didn't do it, but you can. So I'm going to cut the next one. I just need the width, so I'm not attaching it. I'm just using this one before it for the width. And again, yeah, you can use these anywhere you want on your box. So I have that one, I have that one, and I have this one. That one I cut a little bit short, but that's okay. Yeah, so I'm going to attach them on, but if you want to just visualize it while you're doing it, this top part is going to be flush to this top edge of the box. So if you need to visualize and just kind of set them in there, that's how you can do that. Especially if you don't want it up like too high. And, you know, we die cut the hills. Not everybody's might be exactly the same. Just when you are attaching things, you don't want any adhesive on the back. So I don't want any adhesive sticking out here, because when my box is folded flat, any adhesive that's back here is going to stick it shut. So just make sure when you're putting your adhesive on your hills, do not have them, do not have any loose adhesive back here. Now, if I want to just kind of test it, I can just kind of set it in there. And yeah, so my little penguin can go on there. And it is below my Hello Winter, so he's going to be up here. So, and then I'm just going to eyeball where he's going on my next one. And this one, you can see on this middle panel right here, there's nothing attached. So this one is attached to this front panel, and this hill is just kind of behind him. But again, totally up to you. You can do whatever you want with your hills. Mine has, okay, a little jaggedy part. There we go. So you can have your hill sticking up as much or as little as you want. So if you want to set them, on top of each other this way, then you can kind of see how they're going to layer together. And this one I'm just going to have him just poking up just a little bit over that edge. If you are going the glitter route, you might have to wait to do the final assembly until it's, a little bit drier and easier to work with. Okay, so now you can go ahead, and you might have done this for homework. You might have colored and fussy cut out your penguins. I did one thing that I probably shouldn't have done. I think I duplicated, like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, I used a total between the two cards of 7 penguins, but there's one penguin I used twice. So you're going to have to alter one. I used this little guy with the little polka dots. I used him twice. Sorry. And I forgot to use this little guy right here. So this little guy you're going to have to use instead of 2 polka dot hat guys. So sorry about that. I will probably put this guy right here. So anyways. So you're going to fussy cut out, and I'm just going to fussy cut out. You're probably done because I had that as homework, or it could be done after. But let me just fussy cut out 2 of them so I can put them on the card, or on the inside layers. So this little guy I'm going to do, and this little guy I'm going to do. Now this is a stamp set from Impression Obsession, a clear stamp set. Super cute. Works great for the pop-up box card because it has a lot of coordinating images that work well together along with the words. So sometimes that's the thing, is finding, if you don't have a clear set or a cling set that all coordinates, you're trying to find stuff that all works together with dies and stamps. So having the little sets that all work together is great. And yeah, I kind of fussy cut like Mitra fussy cuts. I never thought about it until I was listening to her before, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how I fussy cut too. I never close my scissors, and I just kind of follow it around and move my paper. Because I did fussy cut. I was like, who needs all these dies when dies came along? And yeah, everybody needs dies, of course. Dies are great, but sometimes you have to fussy cut. I cut off his little, or I didn't. Sometimes I think I need to wear glasses.
I think so too. I see you squinting a lot.
So, but yeah, I should probably get some readers. That happens.
Yep. How can it be that my daughter needs glasses?
Well, I'll just pretend that I don't for a little while longer.
Oh, okay.
But I should really probably have readers. Okay, so where are we at for time? Oh, we're at 15 minutes left. And this one is pretty easy. So we're just going to go on to here. Now, the tape, for the tape tabs, go on these. So let me get my Sharpie out. Where'd it go? There it is. So I put tape on our little tape tabs. And you can just put it on all of them, so then you only are handling your tape gun once. And I'm not using my 1/2 inch. I want this tape to have a little bit of forgivingness to it. So, and I'm going to show you why. So, when you're attaching these in, this end part is flush to the back of the box. Okay, and these are cut so they kind of, the spacing is the same between all of them. It's this tape tab distance. So from the back of the box, this end part is flush to the back. And then the next one, the end part is flush to the tab before it. And then the next one, the tab before it is flush to the previous one. So that gives you equal spacing. Now if you just want to use 2 tape tabs or 2 little inserts because you don't have as many pieces to add, you can do that. You just space them out a little bit differently. But I usually put one side in, and this is just trying to get my fat little fingers in there, and I want it flush to the top, and I do give it a little push to attach it. The second one I kind of put in there and I just kind of lightly attach it, and I think I have it right. And now if I fold the box flat, that little tape tab can jump around a little bit in case I didn't have it totally where it needed to go. When you fold it flat, that little tape tab can, you know, move. It has a little bit of flexibility to move so it flattens out without buckling. And then I can give it, once I know I have it in the right spot, I can give it a little push. So my second one, I'm going to do the same thing. This edge is flush to the previous insert, flush to the top, give it a little push to hold it in its spot, put this next one in and only lightly push it, and then I fold my box down, and if it does need to move, it'll just kind of jump into place when you're folding it flat. And then my third one I'm going to do the same thing with. This piece is going to be flat up against the edge, and I'm going to give it a little push to hold it in. And there's probably more than one way to do this. And then I just kind of set that one where it needs to go. I fold it flat, and if it needs to jump into place, it will. So now I have these little guys. Now, this one I did attach to right here. You can put a little bit of adhesive behind them. If you're ever doing something and it's thinner, like, you know, say you're putting something in here that's thin like this, you can always put like a toothpick up the back to keep it more firm, more stable. This little guy is a pudgy little guy, so he doesn't really need anything. I just put a little bit of adhesive on the bottom and attach him. Now, if you're doing glitter, now's the time you can go ahead and glitter those hills, but you might need to wait to attach your little penguins. So, and then this little guy, you know, I did attach him to, I left this spot empty. Okay, I didn't put anything on that one. And then this one I attached. Let's get my actual sample out here. Now see this one, I had his feet like they were standing on there, and I just used a piece of cardstock on the back. So even though he was cut and he's standing flush to the top of that, I used a cardstock on the back to hold him in place. That's where I'm saying you can always use, if you have something thinner, you can use a toothpick behind him just to keep him upright. So I am going to, while you guys are working on putting penguins in there and hills, I'm going to run really quick and get an empty tape gun so I can show how to load the tape gun. Okay, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to load the tape gun, then we're going to go on to our next card. We'll leave that there. And my ATG gun. And I have a fairly clean one. I have a bunch of them that have tape all over the place on them. 'Cause in classes, different people use them and different things happen and whatever. So don't throw this piece out.
You're frozen. You're not on mine, Sarah.
I'm not frozen on mine either. So
Brenda, it must be your computer. If you refresh, try that.
Yeah. So don't throw this piece out. I used to think that you didn't need it, but it actually does hold the tape on here to prevent it from going up and hitting the top edge. So for the tape, now sometimes this little tab pulls off when it's not supposed to, but it didn't this time. So I unwind it, and your tape starts, it's kind of shiny, and it starts, you know, right there where the shine goes away. And that actually I want at this very edge right here on my roll. So I'm going to set it on there, kind of turn it until it pops on. There's an arrow, so there's an arrow going this way, then there's an arrow going this way, so it winds around that first one and then up and around, and there's a big arrow going here. I'm just going to kind of pull it until my adhesive starts, and I'm going to pull this tight right over the top, and I just kind of pull it till I get to my adhesive. There, my adhesive is there. And then on this one, there's these two little notches, so it goes in the notch, out of the notch, winds around, and it folds underneath each other. And then I do give it one more little turn. I take my finger and just kind of break my adhesive and put this on there. These two little knobbies fit right in there, and then just give it a click. There.
Hey, thanks, Sarah.
Yep, and I also did that on Thursday night too. And I also showed Deborah what you were talking about in your email to me, where it kind of fed onto each other. So that did happen to me the other day. Anyways, we're going to move on to we have our box card. And you can attach your penguins on the outside too. But we're going to move on to our horizontal easel card. Now, our horizontal easel card, I have to grab all my pieces. The horizontal easel card is this card, and on our website you won't find it because it is actually this vertical banded Z-fold card. So that's how it's scored. It's this vertical banded Z-fold card that I made into a horizontal easel card. Because when you have scored cards, you can fold them in all different manners. So the vertical banded Z-fold card folds like this. It's a Z-fold, and then it has a band on it that folds opposite, like this, to make your vertical banded Z-fold. I did not use this piece from the kit, see that piece in the kit, and I just took it and I folded it opposite to make our easel card. And it's horizontal because that's the orientation. So the horizontal easel card is this vertical banded Z-fold card, just folded differently. So you have two uses for this kit. You can do it as a banded Z-fold card, or you can do it as an easel card. And then you can use the band for something else. All right, so in here, pieces, again, lots of pieces. We have our, and these pieces might be a little bit too long because I didn't take into account the score on there. So if they are too wide, you're just going to trim a little bit off. Okay, so yeah, I can see that with, and it might only be this, as we were making kits recently, we cut them a little bit wide. So I do apologize because you might have to take a trim off of these. So before you start attaching these pieces on there, oh, this one is wide. I am not sure, but something happened when we were trimming, and like Mitra, I hate it when stuff is wrong with the kits, but the mirror card is a little bit wide. So check it before you attach your pieces and then trim it off if you need to. We did make up additional kits, so I'm hoping it's just the additional kits that we made up that are a little wider than they should be. Yeah, they're 2 and 1/8, and the actual pan, or they're a little over 2 and 1/8, so they should be more like a 2-inch piece of silver mirror card rather than 2 and 1/8. So not sure what happened there, but yes, I'm hoping it's just the kits that we made up additionally. So not everybody should, I'm hoping not everybody has to trim their mirror card. If they do, I had a brain fart when I did them, so sorry. But then you'll have to trim off depending on your, on that piece, you might have to trim off. And let's see, no, I'm not missing a piece. So yes, you may have to trim your pattern paper too also. Not to 2, to a little bit under 2. So hopefully not everybody has to do this. But yeah. Anyways, so yes, make sure your pieces fit on your panels before you start attaching your printed pieces, and then you can go ahead and attach your printed pieces and then attach them to your front panels. My trimmer needs a new blade. I hate that, but I should just like get it done with. Because I hate when it cuts jankety. Ooh. I do have thin borders on here too, so if you like wider borders, go ahead and give it a little trim and give it a little bit wider of a border too. I do kind of like my narrow borders. Some of you may not be a fan of them as much as I am. It does make, if you should be wearing glasses, a little bit difficult to put them on. Or if you are kind of OCD and like everything perfect, yeah, then the narrow borders are probably not good for you. I do have my blue one on the top, my green one on the bottom, so you can go ahead and attach those. can drive me nuts. Yep. It is time to get a new blade for my trimmer. All right, now our trees. We are going to trim those out. And again, this is one that we kind of left it in and trimmed it. And for the distance, let's see. Your thin blue piece is cut the same distance that you need, so go ahead and cut your distance based on that thinner blue piece. Unless you want a little bit of border all the way around it. And you're just going to pop that out of there. Be careful, this is one that's a little bit more delicate because of the thin at the bottom of the tree. And I didn't realize when I used this one, I'm pretty sure this is a discontinued one. So yeah, sorry. But this is one that you can take a toothpick if you want and put behind the tree so it's not as delicate. I did have it the first time before I glued it down. It was flopping and it was kind of bending right at the bottom of my tree. Now I did take, and this is totally up to you, I did take a green marker and see the edges colored. Now if you want to leave it white, you can. You're going to cut your glitter trees off at the bottom. So you're going to hack them off.
Sarah, are you watching the time?
Yep, I'm watching the time. And I know I can go over by a little bit. Okay. But see, you can have the white behind them if you want, or you can take a green marker and color the edge of them. Because I did offset it a tiny bit. Yeah, I know I'm going to go over by a few minutes.
Okay.
And that's why I'm right before the break. So there's a 15-minute break. So, and my trees are slightly like crooked. So, and that's kind of driving me a little bit nuts right now. So I am going to take, and you're going to end up trimming this bottom part off anyways to whatever height you want it. Mine are on there a little crooked. So when I trim it, I'm not going to trim straight. I'm going to just trim it a little bit crooked itself so my trees aren't standing up crooked. And then when I do that, that's going to alter those, but there's a way around everything. So I'm going to trim this straight according to the bottom. And I'm going to have a little bit of a border on both sides. And hey, that's okay. Because nobody's going to see my sample besides you guys on the picture. So mine was a little crooked and I am just altering it. You know, when everything is like die cut by people, sometimes crookedness happens. So now when I'm attaching these on there, I'm only going to put tape on here and maybe the bottom of my tree, but don't put tape on the top of your tree because when you go to open this up, you want that top part to stick off. Okay, so first let's get our trees on there. Our glitter trees. And I just grabbed my handiest tape gun, or that was nearest me. And I am offsetting it a little bit. It's up to you if you want to offset it or not, or if you just want to cover it up. And again, when I put adhesive on here, don't put adhesive at the top of your tree because you want it to when you open the card up, it's going to kind of pop out of the top. So you can attach that at whatever layer you want or whatever level. I did attach it a little bit higher so my penguins, they can pop up too. So the top of my tree is going to pop up. Just make sure there's no tape behind past this score line right there. So then it'll pop up. Now for the inside, well, for our words, I forgot to bring myself a glitter green circle because again I just grabbed pieces. So you should have a glitter green circle that attaches behind that, and you can pop that up. Yeah, I just grabbed the pieces, so I don't have my glitter green circle. You should have a glitter green circle. For the inside, we have the longer piece, and that just attaches flush. Then we have this piece that attaches to the mirror card, so let's go attach those two pieces.
Hello, pretty girl.
And yep, I'm running a few minutes over. I am wrapping it up shortly though, but you'll still have a 10-minute break. So I think we're still good. I knew I might run over by a little bit. I thought we were good, but yeah, stuff happens.
Oh, a couple of people are missing their glitter circles.
Yeah, I'm missing my glitter circle too. I thought it was just me. So go ahead and we'll write down who's missing their glitter circles. And if you have an order in house, I'll send it. Otherwise, I'll send it through the mail.
Let's see.
Now this piece, you do want to pop this up with foam tape because this is what holds the easel in place. Okay, so it kind of sits right behind there. So you do want to pop this piece up with foam tape. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the missing green and the cut mirror card is when we had to do a few extra kits. So if you do order the kits, I will make sure those are corrected before they go out. I'm going to have to make myself a written note so I make
Plus
sure.
glitter trees. Lynn Johnson's missing glitter trees too.
Oh, well, those should have been in there because there's a whole bunch of extra glitter trees out there.
Okay, I'll write it down.
Yeah. What I think happened was she probably used the last of the green circles, and instead of leaving one in the, the sample, it got taken out.
Yeah.
So yeah, stuff happens.
Okay, we are human. That is good to know.
Yep.
But I'm sorry it happened.
Yep. So we always get it corrected. As much as I hate it, we do send you the piece, or if you have an order in house, I send it with the order. Speaking of orders, since we're just finishing up, right now we have our holiday sale going on through today. Today is the last day of our holiday sale. So holiday sale code is holiday25, all together, no space. So holiday25. All orders receive 15% off, but if you order over $50, it's 20% off. If you order over $100, it's 25% off. So the sale code is holiday25, and that is through today. And then we do kind of close down for, well, I'm usually working, but we do kind of close down for the holidays, so our employees have off. I'll ship some orders just because I can't stand them sitting here, but we do kind of close down. I'm not always in the office from the 16th through till January 2nd. So email is probably the best way to get a hold of me if you need to. So I'm going to wait to attach my penguins on there. But yeah, that's our horizontal easel card that is actually made out of our vertical banded Z-fold. So on to our winner. Our winner is Nancy Cloud is our winner for today. Usually I put everybody on a spreadsheet. I pick, I take the numbers that are on the spreadsheet. I just randomly pick one and then I go find out who it belongs to. So there you go. Congratulations, Nancy. You are the winner today. And
One question. What time does the sale end today, Sarah?
midnight.
Midnight Central
Midnight.
Time?
No, midnight Pacific time.
Okay.
So, and the next one up is at, it's 12 Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, and then Mountain and Pacific are earlier. So that is you have a 7-minute break, and it is Live Inspired with Amber Bolton. Remember to refresh. And then on Tuesday, we will see you for whatever I'm doing in January. And honestly, I don't have a clue. So if you have a suggestion for my next Craftalong, I need to design it between, sometime on Monday and Tuesday. But yeah, I'm looking for suggestions if there's anything you want to do. So we will talk to you later, and thank you for joining us today for our Penguin Craftalong. Bye, guys.